JJ the CPA here. Hope you're doing well. Hey, thanks for tuning in. So this is related, yes, related to the Paycheck Protection Program loan forgiveness application. And this is for the owner employees, the self-employed, sole proprietor, independent contractor, single member LLC, as well as general partners and partners that receive guaranteed payments. And the reason that this covers all of you is that your compensation, your payroll cost that's included in the PPP application for forgiveness all goes on one line item. Your payroll information, your FTE for you, for any of these categories, is not included in Schedule A or the tables 1 or 2, or in any of the calculations related to salary reduction, FTE. None of your information is included to determine if Safe Harbor has met on either one. All of that is related to your employees that you pay employment W-2 wages to. So this is specific to you, and you're going to see that everyone's pretty much getting treated the same on this. So let's break this down really quick in terms of where I'm getting the information from and where it's going. So I'm looking at the SBA Guidelines that came out May 22nd. They're the ones that say forgiveness on it. I'm looking at pages 11 and 12, item 3C. And this directly correlates to the forgiveness application on page 6, line 9. And what we're talking about here now is what goes on that line 9. And it's just what I had indicated to you. It is in essence your payroll cost, okay? So with that being said, when we're looking here, I've got it broken up into the 3 categories, okay? How do we know the 3 categories? I want you to see right here. Those that file a Form 1120 or a Form 1120S, so those that file a separate tax return for your business, you would be either a C Corp or an S Corp. So the wages that you pay yourself, the wages that you pay the owner, okay, does not include distributions, does not include dividends. It is only going to include what you paid yourself on a W-2 in 2019, period. So for the owner employees, what's going to go on your line 9 is you're going to take your Form W-2, box 5, divided by 52 weeks, times 8. That is your line 9. Okay? These are 2019 amounts. Now, when you go to, I'm going to several pages here. So when you're going to then determine your health insurance costs, okay? So the health insurance costs are included in your payroll line item that goes on line 9 as well. So for those that get paid a W-2, you're going to take your 2019 amounts of retirement match and health insurance. Yes, both of those are included, and you're going to do it the exact same way. You're going to take what the retirement match was for 2019. You're going to take what your health insurance was for 2019. You're going to divide it by 52. You're going to times 8, and that's what's going to go on line 9 as well. Okay, so it's the same calculation. So let me be clear on this. This is not on your employees. Okay, this is on the owner who's also an employee. Okay, I want you to note this. There's no way over here that you've paid yourself or can pay yourself as an owner on a W-2. Now, I will note this to you that this is box 5, okay, which is the Medicare wages. And if you look at my earlier emails, videos, this W-2 box 5 is the most pure number because when you determined the amount of wages that were included, your wages as an owner employee that were included in the PPP loan amount, it was in essence box 5. What do I mean by in essence? Well, box 1 of your Form W-2 is less pre-tax deductions, and your box 1 of your W-2 as an owner can include potentially the health insurance that the business paid on your behalf. So box 1 is not a good number. Box 3, which is Social Security wages, technically are limited. They wouldn't reach above the 100,000 for these purposes anyways, but box 5 is going to be the most pure number for what you should be including. The reason I'm pointing that out is that there's nowhere in here, which I wish it would, there's nowhere in here where it indicates what box you're looking at. I'm telling you, for me and my clients, it will be box 5 because it is the most pure number of compensation that counts for PPP by looking in section 1102 of the wages that were included. Now, that's for the S Corp and the C Corp for wages. Again, based on 2019, you take that amount, your retirement, your health, you divide it by 52 weeks times 8, that's your line 9, okay? Line 9, again, is compensation to owners, which includes all of this. Now, for the self-employed, okay? The self-employed is you're filing a Schedule C, which is on your individual return, which means you're not filing a separate tax return from your business. The self-employed, which is, we're talking independent contractor, we're talking sole proprietor, we're talking single member LLC that is filing a Schedule C. As a side note, you technically could be a single member LLC taxed as a C Corp or an S Corp, okay? So when I say single member LLC, in this list, I'm talking about the single member LLC that files a Schedule C. And if you say, well, how do I know what I file? Well, if you're a business and you file a separate business return, get your business return out, and at the top, it's gonna say C Corporation or S Corporation. And at the top left, you'll see Form 1120 or Form 1120S. If you're not filing a separate return and you're a single member LLC, you would be filing a Schedule C. So very simple, you're gonna take your line 31 from your 2019 Schedule C, divided by 52 times 8, that's your line 9, that's your payroll cost, that's it. Unfortunately, there's no retirement and no health insurance that gets included, which was made clear on the SBA Guidelines for Forgiveness, pages 11 and 12, number 3C. Unfortunately, you don't get to include it. Now, in the payroll cost, for those that are the owner employee, you do get to include the employer's payroll tax for state and local payroll tax only. So that would also be included in that for your portion. Again, you guessed it, divided by 52 times 8 is going to be your line 9. So you're still using that same formula. There is no such tax on the self-employed, independent contractor, sole proprietor, single member LLC. Now, for partners, okay? For partners, general partners, okay, which is on your K1. If you're a general partner, it's going to be on your K1. There's a box that says, are you a general partner? Boom, you're checking the box. That means you have self-employment earnings, okay? So whatever was included in your PPP loan application and what was used to get your loan, in essence, this is the amount that you're now taking, okay? But they specifically state in 3C and the SBA Guidelines that for general partners, okay, and then on guaranteed payment partners, okay, so the amount of guaranteed payments, okay, I'm adding this in right here because I know that it's included in this. But on 3C, it only addresses general partners, but I do know it includes guaranteed payment partners, meaning the guaranteed payment amount. But you're gonna take that Form 1065 partnership return, and then what was on 2019, okay, you're going to multiply by 0.9235, okay, which is an inverted it's inverted for self-employment taxes. No reason to go into a discussion of that, but it's very clear on 3C. Makes sense to me. We're going to take that amount times 0.9235. So the general partner's guaranteed payments, which is the self-employed, okay, subject to self-employed tax. Okay, how do you know this? You're going to go and look at your PPP loan app and you're going to go, what did we include from 19? Okay, if you're like, well, I still don't know what we're talking. You're going to look on your K1 from 2019. You're going to look in, I believe, in box 4 and or box 14. You're going to see guaranteed payments, self-employed earnings. This one here, you're going to have to just really know what it was that was included in your PPP loan app, okay? Because this one here, everybody thought it was one thing, and then on April 14th, it became another thing. So that's why there's not a straight answer there for you. So you're going to have to look and see what was included. But at the end of the day, the max that's going to be included here, okay, is 9.235 divided by 52 times 8. That's line 9. Okay. So if you're noticing, it's the same, all of these. Okay, you're taking the dollar amount that can be included divided by 52 times 8, all related to 2019. Okay, and again, what is, I need to get some new pens. What is line 9? Line 9 is compensation to owners. Now, it specifically states in 3C of the guidelines that no retirement and no health insurance gets to be included in the payroll cost, and then there is no state unemployment employer payroll costs. So this is how you come up with this one line item, line 9, okay? The other thing I'll mention to you is, and I want to make sure I get the right amount, and then I think we've got it nailed down, is that the max for all of these, okay, the max amount of compensation is $15,385. Okay. Now, one thing I want to note to you, that max is the max that can be here. Okay, because that's the payroll. That's the max that can be here. But this 15,385, okay, is the max that can come out of box 5. So you take box 5 divided by 52 times 8. That amount, the max is 15,385, but you do get to include on top of that, for those that are owner employees, this, okay? So the 15,385 is the max wages. And then you add to that the retirement and the health insurance for the owner employees, plus the state and local employer payroll tax. So for somebody that is an owner employee, they can get 15,385 plus these amounts, where with these, the health insurance and the retirement is not included. All right, hey, so I think we've covered it. I tell you what, if you've gotten to here, I really appreciate you. I've got a bunch of other videos related to this. So I've got a PPP forgiveness playlist I'm going to give you a link to, as well as the other videos that I've done here recently in the last, around the same time period I'm putting this video out, that talk about how the utilities are determined, the rent, the payroll costs of your employees, and the safe harbor, what's an FTE. I mean, a number of different videos that are walking this down. So that PPP forgiveness application, is 11 pages long, but a number of those pages just include, instructions or definitions, but you cannot prepare that PPP forgiveness application without also looking to the guidelines that came out on May 22nd, and the forgiveness, the one that's labeled forgiveness. And the reason for that is, in essence, this is part of the instructions, part of the definitions. That's why I've listed both of these things, where it's coming from and then where we're getting this information. And then if you look at the application for that line 9, you will also see you'll see that there is some instructions on page 5 of the application that talks about line 5, and it says for any amounts paid to and the owner, employee, self-employed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let me give one minor technical correction potentially to what I said at the beginning. And I said that your owner compensation is not included in Schedule A. Okay, technically it is, okay, but it's that one line item. Okay, that line 9, it is on Schedule A, but everything else in that Schedule A, okay, which is a bunch of other information, your numbers are not included except when you get to the total payroll costs. And then when you're on page 7, when you're on page 8 of the forgiveness application, you're on page 9, and anything on page 10, well, I guess it's just 9. Anyways, that does not include you, okay? Again, doesn't include you. All you for payroll costs is line 9. And then now you're part of the payroll costs. You don't get to be a part of the calculation for FTE or salary comparisons. You don't look at this time period versus this time for that time period, which is another way of saying that if you are the only employee, okay, because it's very possible you have an 1120 or 1120S and you're the only employee, okay, well then your page 8 would just have a bunch of zeros or NAs on it. Your page 9 would be the same. It'd be a bunch of zeros or NAs. So 9 and 8 and 7. And then when you're looking at PPP Schedule A, if you're the only employee as the owner, if you're the self-employed individual and you have no employees, even, you have a partner, but you don't have any employees, okay? Then lines 1 through 8 on Schedule A would just be all zeros. You'd have your line 9 that comes from here, and then your line 10 would be the same amount. If you're the only employee, if you're sole proprietor, you're a partner that doesn't have any employees in the partnership, then also line 11, 12, and 13 on the loan app would be zeros. So, all right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. If you made it to here, thank you so much. But if you've made it to here and you're not a subscriber, I need you to subscribe. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. I really would appreciate it if you would. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. All right, hey, have a good one.